Kitten, what are you doing?
Sleeping. Done terrorizing everything for the day. So I thought I'd take a nap on you so you couldn't move.
Oh, well, gee, thanks. Hmm. So, anyways, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. Whatever it is, wherever you are, whatever time it is, wherever place you ever are, whatever universe you happen to live in. Welcome back to this stupid shit here. Where today we're going to be talking about news because I just keep on thinking of random crap that's just fascinating that I want to talk about. And I've been too busy drawing architectural sketches to write anything down. So I said, fuck it, let me just go ahead and start just before 11 o'clock. It's been a while. We used to have broadcasts, what I called at 11 ish. I don't know if anybody realized how clever that was. But not only did I remain committed for more than long enough to test and see if the Google algorithm would respond to regularly scheduled live streams. Um, basically, the Google algorithm, the way they advertised it, the way they advertised it towards the creator, okay, was such that if you put the work in, it was going to recognize it and it was going to make sure that you got results, okay? And you saw advice video after advice video at the time that said, just keep posting, just keep doing live streams, interact with your fans, blah, blah, blah. And one could logically assume because that's what they told you to do, that's what everybody was telling you to do, and that's what people said they were getting results from, that that's what the algorithm was geared to recognize. But not only did it not recognize my unique little show, but the thing is, people who scroll prolifically for recently uploaded and new live streams, um, a great number of them are 9/11 conspiracy theorists. And among the many attempts to reach out to them, the at 11ish title is a subtle trigger and should have attracted recognition in the hundreds, if not thousands, to those particular live streams. But as we all know, it was very rare to have, 12 people watching back then. It's extremely rare that that would happen now, and it's almost invariably the result of the Russian troll with the multiple accounts just logging in here, just to do his negative view thing, however that works, and sometimes to harass us, even though let's just say lately we've been fucking with his head a little more and more because, well, everything he thinks and believes is wrong, so it's fairly easy to do. I mean, when basically everything you're programmed to do is an emotional action that isn't in your own self interest, um, it's pretty easy to point out. and that's what Russian trolls and Russian hackers are doing. They're basically fighting for fascism against corruption that the fascists they work for created. To create utopia. Okay, so people go and fuck up society. You get propagandized against it. You go fuck up society even more. And guess what? Later down the line, more people will be propagandized against what you've done today. Because helping corrupt mobsters make people who want freedom get corrupted by money is going to lead towards not fascism. Yeah, okay. Doesn't make much sense to me. So, FBI memo details lies about, or Michael Flynn's lies about Russia. Because he supposedly lied to Mike Pence, right? Oh, yeah. And Trump didn't think he was going to win the election. Mike Pence, who had contacts with Russians personally and had lied about it, to make his lie true, you have to say that Flynn lied to him. See, but the fact is that Mike Pence was lying, so to say that Flynn lied to Mike Pence is just completely full of shit. There's something much deeper going on with that. But then Mike Pence he's probably lied to the FBI at this point. He's probably lied about the same thing. Or maybe he just lied in public, and then when it came to the FBI, he's like, oh, yeah, I did kind of meet with a few Russians here and there. Just a little Russian. Maybe another Russian inside of that Russian. You know how they are. And then there was another inside of that, and then another one inside of the end. Anyways. So I was licking this chick's ass. No, actually, I haven't been continuing to watch Andrew Dice Clay. You can only really have so much Andrew Dice Clay. And it all kind of just blends together after a while. And makes me want to start drinking again. No, I'm kidding. I know better than to listen to that urge at all because, whew, every time I have drank in the past few years, in the past 10 years or whatever, every single time I remember why I decided that I was getting too old to keep drinking. Because when you're young, you don't get hangovers. I mean, you can, but you got to try really hard. Once I started getting old enough to where it was just like, what did I do? You know? Better off without that whole feeling. And then even when I would drink, just the feeling of being drunk, just the feeling of losing control of my faculties, just like not being able to keep, man, come on. I have enough problems keeping balance and shit when I'm just tired and been fucking sitting there focused on something too long. I stand up and I get a head rush. Oh yeah, that's what I want. let me drink something that makes me feel like that all the time. No, no thanks. But anyways, whoever you are, how the hell are you? Apparently we've got one person watching on the world's largest social media network. Isn't that something? Yep, there's nothing I don't see. Yeah, I mean, surely I'm not seeing right through things. Yeah, surely. Not seeing through that. Especially not that thing that you were just thinking of. No, definitely not. Shh, don't tell. Anyways. So I think I might apply to work at the Trump administration because there just seems to be so many available jobs and nobody wants to work there. Because apparently this Mulvaney guy, he's got 3 fucking jobs now. 3. Like I thought it was just he was the budget manager. No, he's supposed to be the chair of the fucking or the head of the consumer protection consumer financial protection bureau, the CFPB or whatever, PB, HPV. So I don't know. The consumer financial papillomavirus. No. But like, I mean, granted, how much consumer financial protections was the Trump administration really offering? You know? But still, 3 jobs, man. 3 fucking jobs. Like, is the White House advertising on Craigslist yet? Oh, Craigslist. I thought of Craigslist before Craigslist came out. But at the time, Craigslist sounded like such a catchy little name. And I was just like, you stole my... I had an idea to compete with eBay. And it was going to be a local auction website dot the city you were in .com. And it was pretty much everything that Craigslist was going to be. Thought of that shit when I was like fucking, I don't know, 15. And now, boy, let me tell you, every little plan I ever made, it's like I got a new chance to make it happen. It's fucking crazy. Sorry. Okay. No. But seriously. There is this market need right now, okay? And so many people have paid so little attention and have so little of a clue what that need actually is that I don't know if there's a business who's actually capable of filling it. And Microsoft with their new streamlined fucking login approach. Man, as long as I have to type something in, it's not streamlined. Until I can just sit down in front of the computer and it knows that I'm there. Now, naturally, I have figured out a really convenient, cheap, fucking easy, secure as fuck way to do that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You want to use your computer, you just go up and fucking use your computer. No more like, oh, I got to call the IT guy, tell him to reset my password. Oh, I forgot to change it this week, and it's making me change it before I can log it. No, fuck all that. Handled. Just walk up to your computer and use it. And the only way I will describe how I accomplish this is by saying the Admiral Odama approach. Well, it's the only way to beat the Cylons, isn't it? And I hope there was a Russian troll with like a lot of experience who watched that just then and giggled to himself because he thought I was talking about a key. Yeah, I know how long it's been since fucking keys were hackable. Nope. In fact, even if you knew what I had in mind, you could never do anything about it. All you could do is make one for yourself. And then, you know, you could have secure communications and instant login too. I even got a fucking trademarkable name for it. And every other little aspect of this whole fucking thing. Oh man, the trademarks. That's how you know you're onto something. When all the names for all the different things that it can do just fucking formulate themselves. But anyways, we're at a time right now where people have spent the past 20 years being led to think that their government's watching them. Big Brother. They made a TV show, you know, Trump's friends made a TV show called Big Brother. And what's it about? Turning people into shitty people and gossipers. That's really what it's about. Encouraging people to be shitty, to normalize being shitty. Okay, people need to watch the same way people think of Trump and different people were said as having normalized Trump. You gotta understand, we've been normalizing bad shit with no accountability for a long fucking time. And yes, 1984, when this new world of tests was created for humanity. I know, I was there. I fucking had Smarties. It's funny to me because it's fucking true, and I don't expect anybody to believe it, but reality is a much more fragile thing than people think. But then people think an awful lot about their perspective and grasp on reality when they have no control over where they spend more than 24 hours at a time. When you think about it, you go to sleep and you surrender reality, and you wake up and trust that you're in the same place. when it all comes down to it, philosophically, you could have died any time you ever slept, and you wouldn't know it. But anyways, 1984. The fact that that book was titled 1984. Very interesting. Of course, I didn't know about the book or that 1984 was anything significant to anyone but me until shit, probably into the 2000s, you know. It was a long time before Orwellian was used to describe what was going on here. It was mostly the far right and far left divide and conquer trolls, basically, and their herd, their little false flock, that had brought Orwellianism into the conversation. But then there have been people recognizing Orwellian states around the world for a long time, namely trying to point that out as something that China and Russia have attempted to do in, distant regions like the Uyghur area in China. But now we need to figure out how this paranoid psychosis and this normalization of paranoid psychosis that's happened through every TV show since fucking X-Files, you know, like, whew. Even when the show isn't about that, they have references, and like it's like just it's funny to think those things, or it's like funny to be that guy who thinks those things, you know, like even like everybody loves Raymond and fucking, you know, Big Bang Theory, like popular fucking normal-ish seeming TV shows. Subtle, creeping Orwellianism. Because entertainment used to be a privilege and a responsibility. You know? You used to have to be wise, and it would be considered unmarketable to fail to determine the psychological and spiritual ramifications of words and actions while entertaining people, you know? But little by little, as facts and factoids chipped away at us, these different people came and entertained us in ways that made us feel like, oh, it's okay to not believe anymore. In fact, it's kind of silly to believe. It's kind of silly to have faith. It's kind of stupid to be a Christian. How hard is it to imagine? Dingo. Hold on. That is. I think it's a Skittle. All right. So anyways, imagine let's just say you are a teenage Satanists in the 1980s. Okay. Your parents tell you they're from Poland. And by the way, I'm citing a specific example. I'm going to mix several specific examples for this little story, okay? Here you go. Stop chewing. Your parents tell you they're from Poland. And they say they used to be Orthodox. And they spend a lot of time bitching about the Catholic Church. And you live somewhere where there's a lot of Christians, a lot of Catholics, and wind up kind of resenting them. And a couple of your other friends, they kind of see things the same way you do, and then one day you meet this guy. He's from Moscow or St. Petersburg, and he speaks perfect American English. And he's got this silly little Church of Satan brochure, pamphlet, website, something rather. No, not a website. We're in the 80s, right? Yeah. And he wants you to come to his little Church of Satan. And you and your other friends with parents from Slovenia and Russia and Poland and Hungary. One kid from Argentina. Well, they're tired of all the Christians and all their Colby the teaching Bible and fucking Santa Claus and everything else, and like, fuck it, let's go to this fucking Satan church. And you know, the guy doesn't say like we're gonna go and like be like, hail Satan, because we believe in Satan. He makes it clear we're gonna go do this to piss the Christians off. We're doing this just to have a good time, just to get drunk, just to do some LSD. Just to stick it to the man. Just to take out our rebellious urges, you know? Nothing Satanist about that, right? Be careful, don't turn into a donkey. Little Pinocchio. So you and your friends, y'all spend a couple of years hanging out with these people, and the little Satanist church is mostly for new people that are just, it's kind of a novelty thing. And then you wind up breaking off into a little group of people that you meet there, and you got your little connection to the pastor, and you go and hang out at the bar or something. There's always like a particular bar that they'll hang out at, right? And then years later, the comedian Mike Warnke makes his statement about the preacher came and saw that there were some Satanists in the church trying to get in and come join the congregation and see the show tonight. And I'd just like to thank the preacher for letting those Satanists in the church. Because if not for them, then what is this church for? And he said, we should open up, a comedian said, we should open up our doors to Satanists. That was in the mid-'80s. Imagine if you're a Satanist who hears that. Wait, do Christians want to let us in? What would you do if you were that little Polish Satanist? You know, bear in mind, you don't worship the devil. You're just from a an Eastern culture that you've been raised to feel is superior to Western culture. You think Western people are just naive babies and full of shit. And you've joined this little group of people who have fun calling themselves Satanists, and they listen to fucking heavy metal music and Skinny Puppy and Acid Bath and Nine Inch Nails, and they're cool. You know, they're cool people. They're cool. You know, those cool people, right? These are the really cool ones, right? The ones whose parents come out with them and buy them liquor. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those people's parents happen to be from Poland and shit. I never really put that together when I was a kid. But the frequency is actually really alarming. Well, you know what them Satanists did? They said, let's go to church. Yeah, like a little Ernie and Bert laugh. Let's go to church. Oh, yeah. They're like vampires, man. You invite them in, they're going to come the fuck in, aren't they? I mean, shit, a lot of them are from Transylvania. I mean... And let me just say this, in a more entertaining and fictional, theoretical type way. If there's anywhere where there's like a place where like vampires regularly cull people, it's in those fucking deep central valleys in Russia. You know, if vampires exist, of course. That would be where you'd find them. You know, especially like the way they have them in movies of having like power in the government and shit like that, and like they're all landlords apparently. They own all kinds of nice properties. That is some Russian shit, man. That's not that couldn't happen in America. What is a vampire gonna deal with a homeowners association? I mean, fuck. I'll move my boat when Miss Hutchins stops growing that garlic. Yeah, I don't see it happening. Just saying. I'm like, let me just address tabooism in general. Most of the things that we don't think we exist, like we think we are the lone sentient life form on this planet, okay? No. Okay? But there's no way to tell what exists from here. We've been so removed from these types of societies, culturally and physically, for so long, that there's no way to tell what goes on in these places where, in fact, nothing comes out from unless they want it to come out from there. So what you have is essentially an assumption based on a lack of data. It's like assuming that God doesn't exist and actually considering that to be a valid scientific point of view. You don't have any data that God doesn't exist. You don't have any data that demons don't exist. There's plenty of circumstantial data that prove both of these things are real and are acting sentiently and purposefully throughout history, and especially in the present. Anyways, especially in recent history and in the present. So, Satan is going to church, right? That's where I was. These Satanists, they go there. And I'm not talking the old Catholic church. I'm not talking Presbyterian Methodist. I'm talking non-denominational church. Okay? And while somebody might go from a Catholic church to or some kind of rigid, suppressed feeling kind of church, we're gonna sing our hymns, and we're gonna sit, and we're gonna stand, and we're gonna stand again, and we're gonna sit, and we're gonna stand, and we're gonna sing, and we're gonna sit and stand and sing. And it's just like kind of like Catholics in slow motion. We're gonna sit and we're gonna stand. When's the football game start? And I gotta get some lunch. Is there an Arby's nearby? Shh! Don't talk. I'm trying to listen to this lesson. I've been waiting for this. This is this one right here. This. I've been waiting for him to talk about this the whole time. Shh. I'm hungry. Did we get out early? Just listen. Satanists have been to them churches. They went there one year when they were younger with their friend, with their Christian friend. That's how they got into this fucking point of view to begin with. In addition to their parents from the old country talking about how Orthodoxy came before the Catholic Church, shit like that. Then your little friend Stevie the Baptist, Southern Baptist, First Baptist. They're like Methodists, but from Texas, or I don't know. So Confederate Methodists, basically. First Baptist. Little Ivan goes to Stevie's church with him. And you see Stevie's dad sitting there, staring up, sitting and praying, and singing to him, and standing up and praying, and then sitting back down. Do you think there's a Ryan Steakhouse nearby? And he's just like, this motherfucker doesn't believe anything. He's wearing his brown suit, his penny loafers, in his yellow button-down shirt with a tie. Wearing a fucking tie. It's the fucking weekend, you jackass. Think God wants you in a tie? God doesn't give a fuck about your tie. If there is a God, he wouldn't give a fuck about your... You know, that's what the little Satanist Victor's thinking. Ivan, Victor, whatever his name was. Dimitri. And he starts to realize, my friend Stevie's kind of a dumbass. So then, what was his name? Ivan? Yeah. Dimitri. Victor. George. Let's call him George. George! So George, this is after he's done been to this little funny Satanist church, and he's got his new drinking buddies, and they all like to just talk about how full of shit fucking Republicans are, and how full of shit Democrats are for pandering to the Christians. Ugh. And then they hear, yeah, oh, the non-denominational churches say they want Satanists to come hear the true message of the Lord. This happened back in the 80s. Packing lunch, we're going. Wait, we don't need a pack of lunch? They all eat right after? Oh, cool. Pack some donuts, we're going. And some coffee. Oh wait, they have coffee and donuts? Well, shit. We're going. Roll a blunt. Oh wait, it's the 80s. Roll a joint. Oh, I don't think Satanists could resist. And you know, Stevie, because his dad was full of shit, his mom was just sitting there like, listen. I want to learn this lesson. This is the one lesson I'm waiting for. I'm ignoring the rest of this. I just wanted to hear this lesson. You think they're gonna be having a long line over at Bennigan's? Stevie, you know, Stevie didn't wind up philosophically inspired. So Stevie wound up being, you know, more like Victor, or Ivan, whatever fucking guy's name. George, yeah, George. And you know what? So did little Susie and Jennifer and Tina and Taryn and all these other little kids. Their parents all went to the fucking little Methodist church. They all heard this shit and they ignored it. You know, because they all started to listen to, you know, like Depeche Mode and Tears for Fears and started dyeing their hair and getting piercings. And oh my god, look at this little tattoo. Is that real? Yeah, man, it's real. I had to let the guy see my tits. But it's on your tit, I know. One of them say maybe like, you know, Stevie's parents got divorced, okay? Obviously, because, you know, he wouldn't listen. She didn't understand food scheduling. And then Stevie's mom hooked up with one of them guitar playing hippie Christians. And he plays guitar up at the church over there. Just on Wednesday nights. But it's cool to play. Yeah. Just on Wednesdays. I can't wake up early enough on Sunday, bro. Sorry, man. I love Jesus, but like, Jesus wants me to be there for the people at the bar. Sorry, I just had to flashback my mom for a second there. It's like my dad. Jesus wanted him to be there for the people at Woodstock. Yeah. Monterey Pop. Jesus wanted him to drive a fucking Volkswagen van to California. To be with the pussy. I mean, people. Yeah. Fucking man. Right? When you're a man with an IQ above 135 who's in good physical condition from the age of like 17 to 25, your penis is a homing beacon and your brain is just attached to it, and it just rationalizes whatever it has to do to your entire life to justify wherever your fucking penis wants to go. Just like the dick says, there's girls in California, we must go to California. Oh, I'm going to plan a career, and I'm going to go on a mission, and pussy. Brain's just along for the ride. Just hanging in the back, just fucking dragging along in the dirt by a fucking lasso. Wait for me. That's the reality that everybody's in denial of at that age. Like from jobs to cars, every single ambition that the male mind is geared around at that point. It's because deep down, they just want them lined up. Make me a baby. No, make me a baby. No, make me a baby. Here, you have $1 million. You have $1 million. That's what hormones do to men. Or boys, should I say boys, because they're still boys until they're like 30. Let's face it. The only reason, okay, and this is here's some profound fucking spiritual truth for you. The only reason why we consider men who cannot grow full beards to be adults is because we need them to hold guns in war. Oh yeah, antidepressants and lots of other medications can certainly reduce your sex drive. Some antidepressants are actually unannounced neurotranquilizers, and they can cause your shit to go numb, basically. But it's more about a psychological state. Your body can't overcome that. It just, takes a talented member of the opposite sex, I should say. But anyways, back to Stevie and his new stepdad. Stevie comes talking to Dimitri or whatever his name is. Nicola. Yeah, Nicola. and Nicola. My mom's fucking this new guy, man. And they go to this church, and it's kind of alright, man. Like, they got like a little rock band playing. And Nicole's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This stupid fucking Western douchebag. You know, he ain't never set foot on European or Asian soil. But his parents are from the fucking old country. So just a little bit, just enough to be judgmental about shit. Oh, yeah. But then the music happens, and the Satanist funny bone is tickled. Oh, because the Satanist funny bone. Oh, that's like the 20-year-old alpha male's penis. It just has to be followed. Whatever they have to do. Whatever they have to do to carry on with this idea of ultimate trolling that has occurred to them. Oh, they won't be able to let it go. It's just too fucking good. It's just too good. It's like framing OJ. Fuck. The glove would fucking fit if he just pulled a little. Okay, I'm sorry. But, you know, I like to give credit where credit is due to people who are basically now serving as communist agents, whether they fucking realize it or not. Dana Carvey. Anyways, I think I'm getting on a little bit of a tangent here. Yeah, a little bit of a tangent. So, Petrov, or Dmitry, Ivan, Nicole, what was his fucking name again? George. Yeah, George. Okay, George. Okay, George. George. That's what his parents call him. It's not on his birth certificate, but that's what his parents call him. Oh, a limited audience is going to find that very funny. Oh, yeah, I know. I fucking know. Fucking think. The stupidest thoughts you ever have are regarding shit that you think I don't know. At least part of me knows, no matter what it is. At least part of me partly knows. Anyways. Yeah, that too. Anyways. Shh. Don't tell. I won't tell if you won't. Well, no, I will, but I won't. I'll tell my people, not your people. Anyways, I'm just going to shut up about that now and get back to, what's his name? Let's see, what did I miss? Sergey. Let's get back to Sergey. I mean, George. Yeah, George. You know, he was young in the '80s, and you know he turned into kind of a goth. So you call him Serge, but his family wants people to call him George. But he was being rebellious for a while, so now he wants to be called Serge. And he's got long black curly hair. And his little friend Stevie, he's got brown curly hair, and he thinks he's as cool as George or Victor, whatever the fuck his name is. Stevie thinks he's that cool, but he ain't that cool. Stevie's learning how to play guitar. George don't give a fuck. And then Stevie says, you know, my dad's church, bruh, I think it might like really be a cool thing, man. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of starting to like believe in this again. Don't you believe in God? You know, like kind of like, don't you believe that like there has to like be a God? You know, like. Nah. No. George don't speak Russian. His parents spoke something. He's not sure what it was. Czechoslovakian or something like that. They only talk it when they're speaking to his grandmother. They're from the old country. She built the fucking pyramids. She is the old country. She smells like the old country still. She sounds like the old country when you see her. You know, just one look at her and it's just like slow polka. You know. But Stevie tells George, they want Satanists to come and learn about Jesus. George looks at Stevie through his Slash from Guns N' Roses bangs. And first he wants to punch him. Like, you really think you're gonna drag my ass back to one of them fucking dumbass churches you go to? No, man, but this one's different, man. I'm telling you, man. There's like a rock band plays, man. But then the gears start turning. And Sergei Dmitry George Stephanopoulos or whatever. Papadopoulos. Acropolis, yeah. Rostov. Yeah, old joke. Demons are laughing. He starts thinking, wait a minute. They're really convinced that they've found shit so exactly true. Their message has become so precise. They are so enlightened. They're so confident. They have such a powerful ministry that they think me and my drinking buddies, you know, George is like 17. He's in high school now. It's the early 90s now. They think I'm just going to roll over, do they? This could be fun. Let's go to church. And all over the country, Dimitri's and Stefana's and Maria's and Sloboda's and oh, Anna's, Cassie's. They all went to their new little vineyard church or their little non-denominational church with Stevie and Jennifer and Billy and David and Mikey all over the country. Just looking for something to troll. And then they found what eventually led to let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the saved. Dun, 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 dun. Benny Hinn. People go falling. Hitting people with a magazine and shit. Psh. I bless you with this holy brochure. Psh. You made me spill my water. I'm smacking him extra hard. Yep, right after all the televangelists were just becoming extra full of shit. Just not even trying so hard anymore to not be full of shit. And this wave of traveling preachers would come and talk to your church about speaking in tongues and getting caught up in the spirit. Just as all these Satanists, just as George and his friend Stevie were both going there. And just like Stevie lost the culture battle during high school until he gave his little stepdad a chance. Mom's boyfriend, whatever. Once again, now that Victor or George, whatever his name is there at church, they're going to start making fun of these people together. But then something weird happened. Something weird actually happened in this story as it played out in microcosms all over the country. Stevie eventually stopped going to church as church became more and more full of shit. He was trying, but his friend kind of embarrassed him and made him second think what he was seeing, and eventually that got to him. But his friend Victor, George, Dimitri, whatever, he was there trolling to begin with. And fuck, he told his parents about the donuts and shit. His parents are like, oh, go to the fucking church. Go fuck with those people some more. And sure enough, it becomes a tradition. He just goes there for the coffee and donuts. and he's making business collect because his parents, they're from the old country. They go to fucking make you some connections. Use these people. They're trustworthy. They're trusting. You can take advantage of this. We're going to be in this community. You need to make it your own. So George keeps going to church. And eventually George, because he's just so nicely dressed and because he's always there as he gets older, people that he does business with, people that work for him, go to this church too. George, with his Polish parents, are now a pillar of a community in America, despite the tattoos that he's hiding. He's got his hair short now. And George will look into your face and tell you he's a born-again Christian. But he knows it's all a lie. He's just there because he saw advantage in being there. He started out just trolling the fucking place. And then one day, Donald Trump rolls along. And George thinks the only thing George could possibly think: we've won. You see, Trump is basically acting just like he would act in that situation. Just a troll. Acting like a Satanist pretending to be a Christian because it's economically advantageous. Because, well, eventually you gotta grow up and buy a house and cars and shit. Gotta support that drinking habit, And then George and all his friends wind up being the adamant supporters, the people that run for Congress and become the Trumpists. All those people like him all over the world, all over the country. They were damn near Satanists at one point in their youth, and then they became Christians of expediency. And they are now Trumpists, essentially still Satanists, because they are they are Eastern in philosophy, they are Eastern in allegiance, and they are anti-American in the fundamentals of their belief. And they use their position in these communities of faith the way a cancer uses a cell. "17, is it? The president the Trump is facing 17 investigations." I said the president for a second there, and I didn't know who I was talking about. I'm like, Obama's? No, Obama isn't being investigated. Hillary's not being investigated. So ironic how John Oliver happened to have Jesus. If Jesus is back, he's still with her. You got a little "still with her" sign, and Jesus is still spouting on about Trump and Russia. at this point where Trump and Russia had died down a little bit and wasn't in the news much, and that was funny and cute to them. Yeah. Can you see through them big black rim glasses? Because I can. You see, John Oliver, just like George, only he grew up in Britain. Then moved to Canada. Then came to America. Anyways. So there really is something to think about, though. When you consider how many institutions that applies to, not just the church community, police community, military community, rap music community. All of these different major aspects of American society were influenced in very specific and well-timed ways. And the course of events and how they line up is consistent with Putin's rise to power. And in my opinion, facilitated his rise to power. But anyways, that's going to be all for now. I'm getting kind of headachy. I need to get some food. And let my phone charge a while. I'll probably be back on later. Thanks to whoever was watching earlier. Thanks for clicking the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Peace.